I followed your directions, Eve said, opening the lid to peek. They look good enough to eat. Smell good, too. You're an angel. That's what you are. An angel sent from up above. Aw, Eve said, as she did every time Meemaw loved on her. When Eve returned home after graduating from Texas A&M, it was to the surprising forgiveness and open arms of Meemaw Carver. After her little stunt at Trinity Church, other than her own family and Sadie, the residents of Stone Ridge turned on her. Some refused to speak to her. The mothers didn't want Eve dating their sons, because even with the shortage of women, no one should take another chance on a runaway bride. Not that she was interested in dating anyone, but Sadie understood. Sadie knew what it was like to love a Carver cowboy. In Sadie's case, she'd pined away for Lincoln for years, until he'd finally noticed her. Now they were getting married, and every last desperate man in town could quit hoping there would be a last-minute change in plans. This wedding was happening because Sadie and Lincoln were made for each other. You didn't answer the question, Eve pressed. Does Jackson know I'm living here? Well, now, sugar, when would I have time to tell him? I've been busy getting my poor arm broken in 3 places, having surgery. I think you know all this. Been directing you to cook just the way my cowboys like. Been helping Sadie and her mother plan the wedding. I've got no time at all to spare. She waved her hand in the air dismissively, just as Eve suspected. Mortification pulsed through her, followed closely by terror. Jackson would be either cold and standoffish or madder than a wet hen. Neither would be a whole lot of fun. Lincoln could have told him, and he probably did. Don't you worry none. No one's going to kick you out of my home. But this was Jackson. No one had a better cause to be angry and hostile. Even Meemaw barely spoke a word to Eve right after she'd humiliated Jackson. Then Meemaw heard what happened to Eve while away at college, and her heart was big enough to forgive. Just as she put the last of the finishing touches on the large farmer's dining table that seated 12, Daisy rushed in. Sorry I'm late. There was traffic in Kerrville that slowed me up some. Get washed up for dinner, Meemaw said. Jackson is on his way. Ought to be here any minute. Crowding Eve at the sink, Daisy elbowed her. Bet you're nervous. You could say that. Don't worry. I won't let him kill you. She put her hands out, karate chop style. If he tries, I'll get him for you. Ha ha, that's funny. Eve hip-checked Daisy. Daisy was one of several auto mechanics down at Lou's Auto, 40 miles away in Kerrville. With a shortage of jobs in Stone Ridge, most taken up by the men in town, some women moved away. But Eve moved back after college, and she and her partner, Annabeth Danzer, were the only vets in the area. Eve would have preferred fading into the background, but the men of Stone Ridge made that difficult.